The past never stays buried at Heartland. And in Season 20, it feels like the land itself is hiding secrets that were never meant to be found. A new storm is rising over the ranch, but this time, it is not just weather that threatens peace, it is truth, long forgotten, waiting to break free. Every glance, every silence, and every unfinished conversation seems to point towards something bigger than anyone expected. And once it starts to unfold, there may be no way to stop it. Heartland has always been a place where healing begins, but Season 20 seems to challenge that belief in the most unexpected way. The trailer hints at something deeper beneath the calm surface of the ranch. Life at Heartland is not just about horses and family anymore. It feels like every corner of the ranch carries echoes of past choices that were never fully resolved. Amy stands at the center of this emotional storm once again. She is stronger now, but strength does not mean peace. The trailer suggests she is sensing changes around her that she cannot easily explain. It is not just about her work with horses. It feels like she is emotionally pulled between what she knows and what she fears might be true. Her connection with the land has always been special, but now it seems to be guiding her towards something unknown, almost as if Heartland itself is trying to reveal a buried story. Meanwhile, Lou is facing pressure that goes beyond business or family responsibility. There is a quiet tension in her decisions, as if every choice she makes could reshape the future of the ranch. The trailer gives subtle signs that Lou may be dealing with challenges that force her to question her leadership in a way she never has before. It is not about control anymore. It is about survival, unity, and whether Heartland can stay together when everything starts pulling it apart. Jack, the heart of the ranch, appears to carry a heavy silence this season. He has always been the steady force, the one who holds everything together when others fall apart. But this time, even he seems to be carrying memories that are harder to ignore. The trailer's tone suggests that Jack might be forced to confront something from the past that he has avoided for years. Not everything can be solved with wisdom alone, and Season 20 seems ready to test that truth. What makes everything more intense is the feeling that the ranch itself is changing. The land, the stables, the familiar paths, they all seem to hold a different energy. Small moments in the trailer suggest that hidden decisions from the past are now returning in unexpected ways. It is as if Heartland is not just a place anymore, but a witness to everything that was ever done there, quietly waiting for the right moment to respond. Even the younger generation feels this shift. There is a sense of uncertainty in their choices, as if they are stepping into a story that started long before them. They are not just building their future, they are unknowingly walking through the unfinished chapters of those who came before. And then there are the silent clues scattered throughout the trailer. Unfinished conversations, emotional pauses, and looks that say more than words ever could. Nothing is loud, but everything feels important. It is the kind of storytelling where silence carries meaning, and every detail might be a piece of a much larger puzzle. Season 20 does not seem to be simply continuing the story of Heartland. It feels like it is uncovering it layer by layer, revealing that even in the safest places, truth can remain hidden for years, until it finally demands to be seen. As Season 20 begins to unfold, one thing becomes painfully clear. Nothing in Heartland's relationships feels as stable as it once did. The trailer hints at emotional distance growing between people who were once inseparable, not through loud conflict, but through quiet changes that are far more dangerous. At Heartland, it is never the sudden storms that cause the most damage. It is the slow cracks no one notices until it is too late. Amy's journey takes on a more complicated emotional layer this season. While she continues to be the emotional core of the ranch, there is a noticeable shift in her inner world. The trailer suggests she is carrying unspoken doubts, not only about her surroundings, but also about her own decisions. She is no longer just reacting to problems. She is questioning the deeper meaning behind everything she has built. And that kind of reflection does not come without emotional cost. Every horse she helps seems to mirror a part of her own struggle, as if their healing process is now tied to her own unresolved feelings. Her relationships also appear to be tested in subtle but powerful ways. There is a growing emotional tension around her personal connections, where trust, understanding, and timing no longer align perfectly. Conversations feel shorter, pauses feel longer, and even simple interactions carry emotional weight. It is not about conflict. It is about distance forming where closeness once lived. Lou's world is also shifting in ways that feel increasingly heavy. She is trying to hold everything together, but the trailer suggests that the responsibility on her shoulders is becoming harder to manage alone. The ranch is not just a home anymore. It is becoming a battlefield of decisions, expectations, and emotional pressure. Lou's strength has always been her ability to lead, but Season 20 seems to challenge whether leadership is enough when emotions start interfering with logic. There are moments hinted in the trailer where she looks less certain, as if she is questioning whether she is still making the right choices for everyone she loves. Jack, meanwhile, remains emotionally grounded, but even his presence carries a different tone this season. There is a quiet sadness behind his strength, as if he is aware that some things cannot be protected forever. His bond with the ranch is deeper than anyone else's, and that makes his emotional weight even heavier. The trailer suggests he may be forced to make decisions that do not just affect the present, but reshape how the past is remembered. What makes this season's tension even more powerful is the way it spreads through every relationship at Heartland. It is not a single conflict driving people apart. It is a series of small misunderstandings, hidden fears, and unspoken truths building up over time. Even moments of laughter feel slightly fragile, as if they could disappear the moment the next truth is revealed. The younger generation also begins to feel this emotional shift more strongly. They are caught between loyalty to tradition and the desire to create their own path. But Season 20 makes it clear that growing up at Heartland is not just about learning responsibility. It is about learning how to carry emotional weight that you did not choose. Their decisions are no longer simple. Every step forward seems connected to something much older, something they are only beginning to understand. And in the background of all these shifting relationships, the ranch itself feels almost like a silent observer. The trailer uses tone and pacing to suggest that Heartland is holding memories that are slowly resurfacing through people's actions. It is not just a setting, it is becoming part of the emotional story, almost like it remembers everything even when the people try to forget. As these bonds stretch and shift, one question quietly builds beneath everything. When truth finally rises to the surface, will these relationships survive it? Or will Heartland become the place where everything finally changes forever? Season 20 of Heartland begins to feel less like a continuation and more like an excavation. The trailer carefully suggests that something buried deep within the history of the ranch is slowly coming back to the surface. Not in a dramatic explosion, but in fragments. Unfinished memories, emotional triggers, and situations that feel strangely connected to events no one talks about anymore. It is as if the past has been waiting for the right moment to reclaim its place in the present. Amy's emotional journey becomes even more complex as she starts noticing patterns that don't seem random anymore. The trailer hints that certain situations around her are repeating in different forms, almost like history is echoing itself. This creates an unsettling emotional pressure for her because Amy has always believed in healing through understanding. But what happens when understanding leads to truths that are too heavy to carry? Her calm nature begins to show small cracks, not of weakness, but of emotional exhaustion. She is healing others while quietly questioning what healing even means for herself now. There is also a strong suggestion that Amy may uncover something connected to the land itself, not just personal emotions or relationships, but something tied to the ranch's deeper history. The trailer's tone implies that certain answers were never lost, only ignored. And now, those answers are beginning to resurface in ways that cannot be dismissed anymore. This creates a sense of quiet urgency around her journey, as if she is being pulled towards something she does not fully understand yet. Jack's storyline also feels deeply tied to the past in this season. He has always been the keeper of Heartland's legacy, but Season 20 hints that even he may not know the full truth about everything that happened on the land he protects. There is a sense of emotional burden surrounding him, like he has carried certain memories for so long that they have become part of who he is. But the trailer suggests that even strong foundations can be shaken when long-hidden truths begin to surface. Jack may be forced to confront decisions made years ago that are now returning with unexpected consequences. Lou's perspective adds another layer to this growing tension. While she focuses on keeping the ranch running, she begins to notice that stability is becoming harder to maintain. The problems she faces are not just financial or organizational, They are emotional fractures spreading through the foundation of everything Heartland stands for. The trailer suggests that she may discover information that challenges her understanding of the ranch's history, forcing her to rethink what she believed was already settled. What makes this season especially intense is how the past does not arrive as a single revelation, but as a series of emotional disruptions. Small details begin to connect in ways that feel intentional. Conversations take on double meanings. Familiar places feel slightly different, as if they are holding on to something invisible. Even silence becomes meaningful, as if it is hiding answers that no one is ready to speak out loud. The younger characters, too, begin to feel the weight of something they cannot fully name. They sense that there is more to Heartland than what they have been told, but they are not yet close enough to understand it completely. This creates a powerful emotional tension between curiosity and uncertainty. They are growing up inside a story that is still being written, but parts of that story were already written long before they arrived. And throughout it all, the ranch itself feels like it is remembering. The trailer does not rely on direct explanations, but instead builds an atmosphere where every location feels like it has a memory attached to it. Every fence line, every open field, every quiet corner seems to hold something unspoken. It is not just storytelling, it is emotional layering, where the land becomes a silent witness to everything that was ever done on it. As these buried truths begin to rise, one haunting idea becomes impossible to ignore. The past of Heartland was never truly gone. It was only waiting for the right moment to return. And Season 20 might be that moment. As Season 20 moves closer to its core, the trailer begins to shift its emotional tone from quiet tension into something far more intense and unavoidable. It no longer feels like Heartland is simply revealing secrets. It feels like Heartland is approaching a breaking point. Everything that has been held together by trust, tradition, and emotional strength is now being pushed into a space where it can either transform or collapse under its own weight. And the most frightening part is that no one can clearly tell which direction it is heading. Amy's journey reaches a deeper emotional level in this final stretch of the story. She is no longer just facing external challenges or emotional uncertainty. She is standing at a crossroads where every choice feels irreversible. The trailer suggests that Amy will be forced to confront situations that challenge her identity, not only as a horse trainer, but as someone who has always believed in emotional healing as a guiding force. But Season 20 quietly questions that belief. What happens when healing is not enough to fix what is breaking? There is a growing sense that Amy is being pulled into a truth that cannot be softened or avoided. It is not just about understanding others anymore, it is about confronting realities that may completely change the way she sees the ranch, her relationships, and even her own past decisions. The emotional weight she carries becomes heavier, not because she is weak, but because she is the one everyone looks to when things fall apart. And this season, things are falling apart in ways she cannot control. Lou's storyline becomes even more intense in this final phase. Her leadership is tested not just by external pressure, but by emotional conflict within the family and the ranch itself. The trailer hints that Lou may be pushed into making a decision that could permanently alter the structure of Heartland. This is not just about management anymore, it is about identity. What does Heartland become when every person within it is pulling in a different direction? Lou finds herself standing in the center of this storm, trying to hold together something that may no longer want to stay whole. Jack's presence in this final arc feels more symbolic than ever. He represents the foundation of everything Heartland has been built on, but even foundations can begin to show cracks when the weight above them changes too much. The trailer suggests that Jack may be confronted with a truth that forces him to rethink not only past choices, but also the legacy he believed he was protecting. This is not about weakness, it is about time catching up with even the strongest pillars. And Jack, who has always been the quiet force of stability, now appears to be carrying a silence that feels heavier than words. What makes this breaking point so powerful is that it does not come from one single event. Instead, it builds through emotional accumulation, moments of doubt, unfinished conversations, unexpected revelations, and growing distance between people who once understood each other without effort. The trailer makes it clear that Heartland is not being destroyed by one disaster. It is being reshaped by many small, emotional fractures happening at the same time. The younger generation stands at the edge of this transformation, sensing that something irreversible is happening, but not fully understanding it yet. They are caught between loyalty to what Heartland has always been and the uncertainty of what it is becoming. Their emotional journey is no longer separate from the ranch's story. It is directly tied to it. Every decision they make feels like it carries consequences that reach far beyond their own lives. And beneath everything, beneath the conflicts, the emotional strain, and the shifting relationships, there is the ranch itself. In Season 20, Heartland feels less like a background setting and more like an emotional force. It holds history in its soil, memories in its silence, and unresolved truths in every corner. The trailer suggests that the land is not just witnessing change, it is reacting to it, almost as if it remembers everything that has ever happened there, and now it is responding in its own quiet, undeniable way. By the time the final moments of the trailer's tone settle in, one question becomes impossible to ignore. Is Heartland entering a new chapter of growth, or is it standing at the edge of losing the very identity that made it what it is? Season 20 does not offer easy answers. Instead, it builds a powerful sense of anticipation, where every character, every relationship, and every hidden truth is moving towards something unknown. And in that uncertainty lies the real emotional weight of the story. Because sometimes, the hardest part is not discovering the truth. It is facing what the truth will change forever. As Heartland Season 20 moves toward its final emotional wave, one thing becomes clear. This is no longer just a story about a ranch, horses, or family struggles. It has become something deeper, something that touches the idea of memory, legacy, and the price of truth. The trailer does not close with answers. Instead, it leaves behind questions that linger long after the screen goes quiet, as if Heartland itself refuses to let go of the story it is still trying to tell. What makes this season so powerful is not just the events that unfold, but the emotional atmosphere surrounding them. Every character feels like they are standing at a turning point, even when they are not speaking about it directly. Amy, Lou, Jack, and the next generation are all moving through the same space, yet each of them is carrying a different version of the truth. And as those truths begin to overlap, the line between clarity and confusion starts to disappear. The trailer suggests that Season 20 is not about solving everything neatly. Instead, it is about confronting what has been avoided for too long. Some truths heal, but others reshape everything around them. And Heartland seems to be entering that fragile space where discovery does not always bring comfort. It brings change, the kind of change that cannot be reversed once it begins. Amy's journey reminds us that strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is found in silence, in endurance, and in continuing to move forward even when nothing feels certain. Lou's struggle shows that leadership is not about control, but about carrying responsibility when no perfect choice exists. And Jack's presence reminds us that even the strongest foundations can carry emotional weight that never fully disappears. Together, they represent the heart of Heartland. But even hearts are tested when truth becomes too heavy to hold. What the trailer leaves behind is not just anticipation, but reflection. It forces us to think about how much of the past shapes the present, and how often people live with unanswered questions just to keep moving forward. At Heartland, those questions are no longer staying quiet. They are rising, slowly but surely, demanding to be acknowledged. And maybe that is the real meaning of Season 20. Not just change, not just conflict, but revelation. The kind that does not arrive with warning. The kind that quietly builds until it can no longer be ignored. Because at Heartland, every secret has a time. And when that time arrives, nothing remains exactly the same. As the story moves forward, viewers are left standing in the same emotional space as the characters. Uncertain, curious, and deeply connected to a place that feels more real with every passing season. The ranch is no longer just a setting. It is a living memory. A witness to everything that has been lost, found, and still remains unresolved. And so Season 20 does not truly end. It pauses. It leaves a silence that feels intentional, almost like a breath held before a storm of answers finally arrives. Because in Heartland, the most important moments are never the loud ones. They are the ones that change everything quietly, without anyone realizing it until it is all ready to.